though, is his championship round victories are not there like they should be. It's been 8 championship rounds since he last had a victory, and look at this, Chris, sticking at the foul line.
Okay, and speaking of rounds, Bo, a scheduled 15-round IBF World Lightweight Championship bout as we see Mashall Holman sticking, and of course the champion Vinny Pazienzo doesn't want to stick against Greg Haugen. He'd like to stick a lot of punches all over Haugen. That's a match on Wide World Today, live from Atlantic City, plus Women's World Cup Skiing and Athlete of the Week. Amleto's shot just sort of slid by the pocket.
Monacelli just a little bit compensation for the right-hand lane, which is hooking a couple of boards more, as you see him in his profile. That real high arm swing, open hand, just like Mark Roth, and the tremendous wrist action. As we once called it, Chris, looks like he's trying to start your lawnmower for you. And boy, he gets those pins started when that ball gets down there.
What a pity.
We've seen Amleto before. The one big trouble he has had in championship round matches is the inability to convert simple spares, and it's not mental. I think that he just doesn't take his time. He takes for granted that he can throw a lot of strikes, and you give an opening like that to Mashall Holman, you're asking for big trouble and a short day out there on the lanes.
Let's see how he recovers now. Positioned on the left lane. This is our second match, third frame.
Monacelli saws up the pins. That's the way to come back after an open frame. You see, unperturbed by it, so hopefully it won't bother him and affect the outcome of this championship match. Once again, Holman, tough opponent, taking his time. Talk about that stickiness he had in the second frame. It could have been a little psych shot for Monacelli. Holman knows all the tricks. Make a person worry about something, you have a little edge on him.
In other words, there are ways and methods among bowlers to psych the opponent, Nelson?
Well, at this level, Chris, top players, as we take a look at the lanes here, here's how the lanes are oiled this week. The lanes are oiled to about 25 feet, both lanes, and then they are buffed down to about the 45-foot mark right across there. So it's real heavy oil here and a little bit lighter here. So that's what you look forward to on a professional bowler's tour. Most bowling centers, Chris, are just oiled 24 feet and are completely dry the last 36 feet of the lane, so you get a little more break in the house conditions.
Okay, mixing action on that.
We've been here to
$50,000 Miami Classic. It's a special early edition of ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour next Saturday.
And, Chris, this is how the lanes are checked by the PBA lane maintenance personnel. That's an analyzer which detects the amount of surface friction at different parts on the lane. They go from the center of the lane all the way over the left side, all the way over the right side, check it at the foul line, all the way down to the 45-foot mark. And if you don't see it slide very much, that means there's more surface friction. It's just another way of maintaining the lanes to see that they're the same day after day.
Big shot for Monacelli, giving him a double. Third and fourth frames. Technically, it's amazing, the developments. This is the way Monacelli moved through the field to wind up in the number 3 position.
Steady through the qualifier, 18 games. You see each 6-game block there in those first 3 lines, and the 24-game match play finals went to 5th the first evening, and then on Friday made the big move, stayed in 2nd, finally qualified 3rd. Right now he's in that number 3 position, trying to hold it against the great Mashall Holman. Monacelli trails by 12, 5th frame.
Winner of the Japan Cup last September. Prior to that, he had 7 second-place finishes. But does not give up. He won at the Showboat earlier this year. Three-bagger. And that tightens things up. Only 2 pins now. Mashall Holman in the lead.
Monacelli, one of the few players in the PBA to throw more power on the ball than this man, Mashall Holman. And At that particular frame, Monacelli just sawed the right side of the lane out, sawing that 6 off the 10, putting a little pressure back on Holman, who leads by 2.
Mashall with a horrible strike, 3rd in a row. We asked him earlier if he felt like he's bowling with more confidence since being named Player of the Year.
Well, I think I'm bowling well, and it certainly was very gratifying and a little bit of a surprise getting the nod both from the players and the bowling writers. I thank all of you. It certainly makes me feel good, and I have a lot of potential for 1988. I haven't really done as well as I'd like to early in the year. I usually get off to a fast start, but making the top 5 here, I feel I can carry that momentum, and I look for a very good 88.
Okay. And with shots like that, he'll have a great year. 4 in a row now. Leading by 22 over Monacelli, who is up.
No doubt about it, Chris. He is really leaning on every shot. In the 5th frame, he just sawed those pins out of there. In the 6th frame, you saw him grimace a little bit as he snapped that wrist through the ball. Keeping the pressure on Monacelli. As you see this young man with 2 different colored shoes, one red, one white. Just a little superstition. He had to change those shoes one time to accommodate some slippery approaches. He said it worked so well, and he won. He's going to stick with it.
Cutting the lead by Holman to 12 pins.
Watch the action, the 6th pin, the 2nd pin on the right-hand part of your screen. This is power. See that 6th pin? Boom! Up out of the channel into the 10 pin. That's why you snap that wrist through the ball. That's why you turn that ball over. And here's the footwork. You can see that left heel that holds him back on the approach to keep him from sliding too much. Plant, rip the holes out of the ball. See you later, pins. He only trails by 12. 4 strikes in a row, 7th frame.
All this happening live at the Galaxy Lanes in Venice, Florida. West Coast on a stormy day. 7th frame, 4 in a row. And with a high hit, the 6-9-10. Stand on the left side.
Not even close. Monacelli out of time, just snapping as much power as he can on the bowling ball. And when you go for that much power, you give up some accuracy. He knows it. He missed by at least a board, and if that board was a 2x4, he'd have barely nicked the corner of it. He missed by 5 inches out there at the foul line.
Okay, it's Monacelli against Holman in our 2nd match. Very pretty, charming lady from Venezuela. Amleto Monacelli's sister, Adriana. Glad she's here. You is watching superb champion named Mashall Holman, who has strung 5 in a row and takes a 25-pin lead. He gets with it.
In the groove. Mashall Holman, as we've seen in many, many times in a championship round, allows his own emotions to defeat him. I mean, it's not happening today. He's settled down, very businesslike. As you said, Chris, a good pre-shot program, taking his time, has 5 strikes in a row, has the ever-dangerous Monacelli down by 25 pins through 7 frames. Going to extend his lead to 35 pins with a strike here in the 8th.
Oh, there's a new one. Real propeller job, 360 2 or 3 times in a pull.
And the pins did the same thing. He just emulated the head pin. See you later. Rips out the 4, 5, and 7. I've never seen Holman's arm swing so consistent. He's driving straight through with his arm swing every single time. Very confident. Has the pressure on Monacelli. Monacelli a possible 245 game. Holman going at a 250 pace.
Didn't get that wobbly 7 to go. Tough break for Monacelli. 8th frame.
Monacelli with that powerful bowling ball. His ball comes in, hits the 1-3. Watch the action of the 5 pin. It'll normally come over and take out the 7, but not to be. He gets so much action with the head pin off the sideboard, it stops the 5 pin from driving into the 7 and reduces Monacelli's chance of winning this match against Holman.
Okay. Two professionals, a young and a veteran one, that, like in figure skating, Bo, use all the ice to do your routines. And these are two bowlers that use the entire bowling lane, don't they? Both with their heels back over the approaches.
They surely do. They maximize their power. And one thing, if you look back at this match, Chris, as you've always said, you can't make up for a mistake in bowling. Monacelli made a mistake in the second frame, and Holman's been all over him since then.
Like the 4-pin. Takes the wind out of your sails, no question about it when you're a competitor.
Well, it depends on who you're bowling against. When you see a Holman, you can't afford to watch him, and here's the view that Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton Jr. get every week.
Coffee tasted great in this chilly weather.
The 2-pin, Monacelli makes it this time.
We're in our second game. If you just joined us, the man getting up to bowl, Mashall Holman, had a 242 in his first match against a non-winner, Todd Thompson, who shot a 228. And now he has strung 6, shooting in the ninth. He's strung 7.
Notice how the pin carry has been so dependable on the solid hit. I can't remember, as we closing out the second match here, where a potential strike in the solid area, 1-3 zone, has left anything standing. And that's really a credit to the program they have at Galaxy Lanes of getting the lanes as flat as you possibly can. One of the reasons you leave a lot of solid 10s is the ball becomes slightly airborne as it leaves the lane and goes into the pin deck area. Now Holman, with a potential 280, has the match in hand.
Finding that line on the left lane. And Mashall Holman is the winner, moving a step toward the 23,000. He'll meet Joe Furpo after the tip. Here it is. Today's Old Spice Tip of the Week is brought to you by Old Spice Fast Track Wide Deodorant. It blocks odor better.
The 7 and 10 pins, a near impossible split. But there's two ways to look at this combination. Number one, if it's late in a match, you may want to go for one pin, the 10 or the 7, whichever is easier for you. But if it's early in the match, a different strategy comes into play. Try what the pros do. They try to adjust their strike spot, give up the one pin, and hopefully they'll be in the pocket for the remainder of the game. Watch this.
Now let Bo help you score even.
Either like him or you don't like him, and I'm speaking of Mashall Holman. I happen to like him. He was a great champion. ABC's up close and personal technique has been most revealing. Listen to what Marshall's friends say about him, and take a particular look at a darn good golf swing.
Mashall hits the ball long.
He's a 5 handicap.
A lot of hand-to-eye coordination.
He never stops talking. Never stops talking. Trouble on the golf course.
Yeah, I've got to go under and try and hook it around.
No, I want the pleasure to be able to make this long putt here.
You want to hear it clunk in the hole.
All right.
I have had a dream where I won a golf tournament, a PGA golf tournament. I was the first professional bowler ever to win a bowling tournament and a golf tournament. And believe me, that's a major league dream.
Mashall's a great guy to be around. A lot of fun.
He's a very kind, considerate person or whatever, and very giving. And he's very nice to the people around here in the valley.
I've lived in southern